Released in 2009, developed by Gearbox and published by 2K, Borderlands was a massive success, selling well over 4.5 million copies worldwide, sparking numerous sequels and spin-offs. Of these, most notably being the more successful Borderlands 2. Now, great success comes with good reason, and I hope to explain that today. This is why you should play Borderlands 1. From here on out, I will refer to it as Borderlands 1, since the game sparked a huge series just called Borderlands. The game starts you off on a bus driven by the main storyteller, Marcus. Here, you choose one of the four main playable characters, Lilith the Siren, Mordecai the Hunter, Roland the Soldier, and Brick the Berserker. Each one of these characters have their own special ability, gameplay, style, and personality that makes them unique, which adds a huge replayability factor. I personally have played the game with each character at least once, but I still prefer Roland over the others. After selecting a character, you're contacted by Angel, an artificial intelligence who guides you along your journey. All that is told to you is that you must find the Vault, an ancient alien treasure hidden on the apocalyptic planet of Pandora. The beginning is fairly simple, with you helping out the citizens of a small community called Firestone. This quickly leads you into the large city of New Haven, and on the path to retrieve the parts of the Vault key to open the Vault. Along the way, you meet a dull scientist who's gone mad with isolation called Patricia Tampes, who explains to you that the Vault can only be opened every 200 years, and that time is soon approaching. You are also contacted by Commandant Steele, a commander of Atlas forces in the area who is also searching for the Vault. Once you find the Vault, you discover it is actually an alien monster known only as the Destroyer. You kill it, and the game ends. But you can play through the game multiple times. Pandora resets by putting you back at the start with all your guns and XP, but the enemies are much more difficult to take out. To put it simply, the plot is straightforward and fun to experience, but there are hundreds of little side quests to do alongside the main missions, which each have their own content and small little storylines. The only real issue is that they aren't voiced. You have to read some text at the beginning and end of each quest to understand the story, but it is 1,000 times better to do it, because if you're not, you're missing out on a million laughs. This segues into the next point, the humor. This game is hilarious. There's no other way to put it. It's really indescribable to anyone who's never played any one of the games before. It's best put as ridiculous, but down-to-earth kind of funny. Everywhere you go, you'll find these kinds of jokes. One of the first bosses you meet, a bandit lieutenant known as Nine Toes, there's a little line of text under his name during the beginning cutscene saying, he also has 3 balls. It's small things like this that make it impossible not to crack up at least a little bit. That's not even mentioning my favorite character, Scooter. I won't spoil any of his dialogue because you really have to experience it for yourself. But humor can't save a game on its own, which leads me to my next point. Gunplay. The guns and weapons in this game are phenomenal. The manufacturers of each gun affect it in many ways. For example, Maliwan has strong elemental guns, and Vladoff high fire rates. Each gun feels unique and satisfying to shoot and reload. I find myself picking up and using just about every gun I find, even if it isn't very good, just because of this. There's something so nice to shoot a pump sniper rifle at a bandit before reloading it like a 6-shooter. The animations are so smooth and perfect that whenever I play Borderlands 2, I can't help but long to play its predecessor, just for the satisfaction of the guns. There are a few different weapon types, ranging from revolvers and repeaters to rocket launchers and combat rifles. If you use a certain type of weapon enough, you level up your proficiency with that type of guns. That increases damage, accuracy, recoil, even magazine size. Don't ask me the logic of that, but it really encourages you to stick to a few guns, but it's not required by any means. I see myself using every type of gun whenever I can. Depending on what character you pick, you'll also have a better starting proficiency with certain guns. For example, Mordecai was better with snipers. With combat efficiencies and certain skills, the game starts to sound kinda easy. Do not be fooled. This game is hard. Even when I'm a few levels higher than the enemies I'm fighting, I still find myself having some trouble every now and then. I've tried a few times to just breeze through the game, only doing story, but you will have to do some side quests to level up. But in no means is this a bad thing. You'll go into a story mission, not being able to complete it, so you'll go back, do a few more missions, train up, get some more guns. You'll come back and feel like a real badass to finally kill that boss at the end. Even when you're much higher and stronger, than the enemies. It feels satisfying to kill them. Even though it's relatively easy, this is because you know your strength over them won't last forever, and eventually you'll be getting your ass beat 6 ways to Sunday soon enough. It makes the game feel so much more satisfying and gives you a sense of real accomplishment, even for clearing out a small bandit camp. The game's nothing without a good ending. In this final boss fight, fighting the Destroyer, nothing short of awesome. You really feel like it's a culmination of everything you've done before. You feel kind of menaced throughout the fight as the Destroyer approaches you and slowly extends into our world with its massive tentacle-like limbs. It even sends swarms of flying parasites at you that will basically just reskin racks, but I mean, it shoots a huge eye laser at you and kind of terrifying. But yet you still feel like you can beat it with everything you've got. I mean, when I first fought it, I tended to use every single weapon I had because I ran out of ammunition and all my main guns. It's fun, and it feels very rewarding to finally destroy the Destroyer, which is actually the achievement you get after seeing a whole platoon of Atlas soldiers being wiped out by it. You still feel like a badass for destroying it, doing what they couldn't do, with Commandant Steele being killed by the Destroyer. You were able to best it. Now, if you have the Game of the Year edition, you will be met with a large cache of loot to pick up to make your future playthrough much more enjoyable. Now, the best way to improve any game is to play it with friends. Borderlands 1, being one of the greatest games of all time, is of course compatible with the 4-player co-op mode. It's an absolute blast to play through the game with a few buddies. There are even little arenas throughout the game where you can fight each other in little PvP battles for fun. Even outside of the arenas, you will find yourself competing with your friends for a limited amount of loot in the game. Well, of course, there's always that one friend who's a loot ninja and snags all the best gear before anyone else can. And that's obviously me. I would steal my friend's gear and then sell it back to them for ludicrous prices through the trade system. Nothing to say except for that this game is amazing. You will make great memories with your friends if you play it with them. As if the main story wasn't enough, there are 4 main DLCs to Borderlands 1, each of which adds new quests, new content, and side quests, of course. These are Dr. Ned's Zombie Island, the Secret Armory of General Knox, Mad Moxie's Underdome Red, and Claptrap's New Robot Revolution. Dr. Ned's Zombie Island is a zombie-based story, wow, yeah, I know, based about Dr. Zed's evil brother, who creates an army of undead and is eventually the final boss. There's nothing too special about it, but it's a fun time playing through, as it's a big change to the original game since most of the enemies are melee and slow-moving. The Secret Armory of General Knox is an amazing experience about crushing the final batch of Atlas soldiers and kicking them out of Pandora by destroying their armory and killing their general. This started the trend of villains having comedic dialogues with the player throughout the game. General Knox himself is a very funny and down-to-earth character with a great voice actor. Mad Moxie's Underdome Right is a wave-based survival mode. It's unlike anything else in the game, but it's fun to see how long it can last, either by yourself or with your friends in the co-op mode. There are few arenas with differing enemies depending on which one you choose, with even old bosses coming back for you to kill again. Now, my favorite thing to do is to see how long you can go, and then compare it with your friends and brag about it to them. It creates a nice, good, healthy competition. It's very fun to do. Claptrap's New Robot Revolution is an action-packed blast of the DLC where Claptrap starts Robot Revolution to take over Pandora. You work with the Hyperion Corporation, who actually originally made the Claptrap units, to take down his revolution, and along the way, fight robofighter versions of all the bosses you fought before, such as Dr. Ned, General Knox, and even Commandant Steele, who you actually fight for the first time in this because the Destroyer kills her originally. You know, Claptrap talks him the whole time with his utterly hilarious but still easily annoying all of his dialogue. All in all, Borderlands 1 was nothing short of a revolutionary masterpiece. If you like any of the other Borderlands, you will love this game. And even if you haven't, you should check it out. The ammunitions are so smooth and any missions. depending on which one you choose, with even old bosses coming back for you to kill you again. But, you know, you're gonna kill him. Huh. New robot revolution. Fucking quest.